Have you ever seen an octopus play with a coconut? An octopus living in a coral reef will often drag a coconut along with it for fun. They don't really do anything with it, but they just like having it around. It's kind of cute, like a pet. The only problem is, when the octopus dies, the coconut dies with it. The coconut doesn't have any use after the octopus has passed away, but while they are alive, the octopus uses this coconut to defend itself against predators by hiding inside it. And sometimes, even as a mobile shelter, they move around with it. This is quite an interesting behavior that scientists still don't fully understand. Why would an octopus want to be so heavily dependent on an external object, something fragile like a coconut? That doesn't seem very smart. But in 2021, researchers found out why. Turns out this coconut provides more than just a hideout or a toy. By observing an octopus carrying its coconut along a reef, researchers concluded that coconuts help octopuses bounce back from injuries. Scientists now believe that the coconut is not just a toy or a defense mechanism, but rather a tool to help them recover. You see, octopuses have a unique way of defending themselves. They can actually change color and texture of their skin at will. This ability helps them to camouflage themselves and blend in with the surroundings, which makes them harder for predators to spot. This is also how they communicate with each other. Different colors mean different things, like if an octopus is feeling threatened or if it wants to attract a mate. But the problem is, this colorful display requires a lot of energy and makes the octopus more vulnerable. If they use up too much of their energy, they might not have enough strength to swim away from a predator. So here's what happens. When an octopus gets hurt, it spends most of its time hiding in its coconut, conserving its energy. At first, they don't even have the strength to change color. But then, little by little, they start to recover and get their strength back. As their wounds heal, they start using their skin for camouflage once again. But because they are still recovering, they need the extra help of the coconut. So they keep it around until they are completely healed. It's like using crutches to walk. An octopus will drag a coconut along with it until it no longer needs to use it anymore. Sometimes this can take several days, sometimes even weeks. Once they feel strong enough, the octopus will abandon the coconut and go back to normal life. Amazingly, octopuses seem to remember this trick for future injuries. Octopuses who had used coconuts to help them heal were less likely to die from subsequent injuries. Basically, octopuses who learned how to use coconuts were more likely to survive. Now, it's important to note that not all octopuses use coconuts. For example, a blue-ringed octopus, which is one of the most venomous creatures on Earth, doesn't use coconuts. In fact, they don't even live in coral reefs where coconuts can be found. This means that using a coconut is a learned behavior. Baby octopuses are born knowing how to camouflage themselves, but they must learn from their environment how to use a coconut. Now, it's unclear exactly how they learn this. Maybe they see other octopuses using coconuts, or maybe it's just something they figure out on their own. But what's clear is that not all octopuses have access to coconuts. Yet those who do use them end up being more resilient. In nature, learning how to use tools is rare. Only about 1% of animals do it. And even for those who do, their tool usage is limited to a few specific situations. For example, a chimpanzee may use a stick to extract termites from a mound, but it won't use that same stick to help it recover from an injury. But here we have an octopus using a coconut not only for defense, communication and camouflage, but also for recovery. It's like taking your helmet off after a football game to reveal a brand new look. Unfortunately, scientists can't ask the octopus what it's thinking since they don't really understand their intelligence yet. But I like to imagine that the octopus is thinking something like, wow, I got to protect myself even more. Let me find a bigger coconut. Now, I know you're probably thinking this is great and all, but what does this teach us? Well, I think there are two lessons here. The first lesson is that we should not underestimate the power of simple things. A coconut, something we usually throw away, can be a lifesaver for an octopus. It's a reminder that even the most advanced technology cannot replace the beauty and complexity of nature. Just think about it. Humans have been using wheelchairs for centuries to help people with mobility issues, but it took Mother Nature 600 million years to come up with the wheelchair, which is called the exoskeleton. Animals, like lobsters and crabs, can throw off their old exoskeleton and grow a new one as they get bigger. That's some next-level engineering right there. And yet humans still haven't figured out how to do it. We keep trying to reinvent the wheel instead of simply using what Mother Nature has already created. The second lesson is that resilience is like a skill. It's something you develop over time and get better at with practice. It's not something you are born with. I think this is a very important message because it gives us hope. If octopuses can learn to use coconuts, I'm sure we can learn to cope with whatever challenges we face in life. Maybe we don't have a coconut handy, but we can always find something else to help us out. The key is to be open to using whatever resources we have available. Also, I think the octopus teaches us to be patient. Recovering from an injury takes time. Don't rush the process. Take it slow and steady. Just like the octopus heals a little every day, we can try to heal ourselves as well. Of course, we are not octopuses, so our healing process might be a little bit different. But I think the main idea is to be patient with yourself and let yourself heal. It's easy to get frustrated when you're healing from an injury, especially if you've always been active and then suddenly you're stuck on the sidelines. But it's important to remember that healing is a process and it takes time. Be patient with yourself and let your body heal. In the meantime, find ways to stay active in other ways. There are plenty of activities you can do that don't involve putting your injured body part at risk. For example, you could try swimming, biking, or hiking, or maybe you could take up a new hobby like yoga or Pilates. This reminds me of a book I read a while ago called Tar and Hurt Me by David Goggins. In the book, he talks about how pain is necessary for growth. He says that we should embrace pain and use it to make ourselves stronger. He knows this firsthand because he was one of the most elite Navy SEALs and overcame a lot of physical and mental pain to become successful. I think this is an important mindset to have when facing challenges. We should not shy away from pain or struggle. Instead, we should embrace it and use it to make ourselves stronger. Just like the octopus uses the coconut to become stronger, we can use our struggles to make ourselves more resilient and capable. But I also think that we should be smart about it. Sometimes it's okay to take a break and heal. We shouldn't push ourselves too hard and put our health at risk. If we're injured, we should take the time to recover before jumping back into things. But overall, I think we should try to have a positive attitude and use any obstacles we face as an opportunity to learn and grow. The author David Goggins is a good example of this. He was bullied as a kid and had a rough childhood, but instead of letting this hold him back, he used it as motivation to become stronger and more successful. So what do you think? What lessons have you learned from the octopus? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching and see you soon.